Good morning. So this will be our agenda for today. I have reorganized the course outline a little bit to focus on the main objective of the basic skills that is required for online assignments, lessons, and etc. So I think this was also sent in an email to you. So if when you are registering, if you did provide a valid email address, you should have received this already. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and just start the session. Our time is of the essence. So let's get straight into it. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff. I am part of the InfoView team. And just a little bit about InfoView, what we do. We are an edtech company based in East Legon, Nigeria area. And I believe some of you are already our customers, so you know who we are. If you don't, you can check out our website here. www.idscorpga.com or our Facebook page to know more about us. What we do is we provide software for private schools. So if you want to, school management software, which is mobile application based, that allows you to communicate with your parents. So all the things that we are doing that I'm training you today, when you create the forms, you can send the forms and everything, the application and our application. And when the student does the work, the results of that scores can be brought back into the application. So that's just a little bit about us. What I'll do today is that I am going to start straight from the internet browser. If you are using Windows machine, you're probably using Windows Edge, or you're using Google Chrome or Firefox. All of them will work the same way. So to begin, I'm going to close my browser completely, my Chrome browser completely. And then I will then start from scratch so that you see what I'm doing from scratch, okay? So I will, give me a second here. I'm close my tabs here. And then I'll open a new tab. So obviously when you start your Chrome browser or Firefox, it comes and then you need to put in, Google Drive. If you already have a Google account, that's why I was saying that you should create a Google account, and I posted a link in the page. So I'll click on sign in, and obviously you will request for your username and password, you put it in, and then it will bring you to Google Drive. For me, I already logged in, so that's why I didn't put the user and password, okay? And on Google Drive, it allows you to organize your files and etc. But the point of this exercise today is to train you on how to use specifically a tool called Google Forms. And here's how you access the tool. On this upper left corner where you see my mouse rolling, you see new. And when you click on new, you see more. And then on the more section where you see MOE, more, you hover on the arrow here, it will give you Google Forms, okay? Click on Google Forms, and that opens up a form. So before I start, I want to show you the end product of what you are supposed to deliver to the student, which is a particular assessment or a particular work, a particular lesson, or a particular exam, okay? Because you can use this to conduct exam online, you can use it to conduct homework exercises online, and the student can go in and do all of that work online, and then you can get the results online. And this is absolutely free, okay? So here's an example that I want to show you. So I'm clicking on an English exam that I want to conduct online. So if you're looking at this, this is English comprehension. I think I took this from class year one, a year one exam that I took this from. So here, the student, when the student, you send a link to the parent or to the student clicks on the link and it opens up this form. The student will need to put in their student ID if you're a school that uses student IDs. For us, our school management software uses student ID. So when you put in the student ID, it will allow us, our system, to be able to get the scores directly from the Google form. That's why we have student ID. The student puts in their name. So for now, I'll put in, say, ID 4563. And I'll put in a student name. I'll put Avery Ofori. And the student will then read the story, because the comprehension. Student will read the story. The story is The Gingerbread Man and the Fox. And the student will then answer the questions. So the student will answer what happened at the beginning of the story. The gingerbread man ran from their house. Who was the gingerbread man running from? I say the old man. Okay, and the student can answer all the questions. Fox, old man, old lady. And when the student is done, the parent can then put their name as the one who supervised. So I can put Mr. Bamba here, and the student clicks submit. Let me answer this question. So I'll put, how did Fox ate the gingerbread man? And this question, what happened to the gingerbread man at the end of the story? Oh, okay, this actually goes here. And then I'll answer this question differently. Say test. When the student clicks submit, then the responses will be sent to the teacher or to the school. Here's another example where it's a math graph homework. Yesterday, I got asked a question during the session, how can the students do a math graph and will they support it? Here's an example of that where I have created 4 questions that are graph-based, where the student will need to plot the graph in a paper, and the student can answer the question by uploading a picture of the graph. So here is the answer for first question. The student will just upload the graph and says upload, and then it will be the answer that the teacher will receive. So for this graph question, student have the equation, student does the work, and then student take a picture and upload. Now the question is, how do you create these work online? And that's what I'm going to show you today, okay? So I've started a Google form here, which is a blank form. And I want to create, let's say, this English work comprehension story. So for now, I'll name my form to say homework for English comprehension. And it gives you the ability to add questions. Now, if you see here where I'm moving my mouse, you see that there is a plus sign here. Every time you click on a plus sign, it allows you to add a question, a new question. And then you can change the question or edit the question into different formats. So for now, actually, let me mix this and say that it's homework for English and math. So I'm going to mix 2 different subjects together just to demonstrate how to use this Google form in a way that will be conducive to whether you are doing a multiple choice questions, written questions, or graph-based questions, okay? So for my first question here will be math, question 1, and it's a graph. So how did I create this graph question here? What I did was I just plotted, I went to this website here and it had these graph questions, and this is what I'm using. Now, if you're a teacher and you're a math teacher and you want to create your own graph questions, you can plot them create the questions and then put the questions directly here. Or you can do them on paper and upload the graph image or that question by simply just selecting the image. And then it will allow you to then put the question here. So here, I took an image of a graph, and I just upload here. And the response or the answer that I want the student to provide for this particular question also has to be a graph. So as a result, what I would do is that here where you see multiple choice, do you see that? Multiple choice. I will click on multiple choice and then I'll select file upload as the answer that the student has to give. So that means the student has to upload a graph, an image of a graph. So the student can draw the answer in their graph book, and then they can take a picture and then they can upload, say continue, and then they can upload as an answer to this question. Okay, so that is how you allow, or how you, if you want to get response from students per question that is related to graphs. All right, and you can even specify which file formats that the question should take. So for now, I'll say PDF and image. And that means that when the student is uploading the answer to this question, it will have to be in either PDF or image format. Okay, so this is one way of uploading a question that is more graph-based. The other question, now I'll add another question, okay? And this time it will be English question, English Q1. And instead of uploading an image, I'll just simply type the question here. So I'll type the question, which will be select the list of adjectives from this, spelling, from this list below. And here, what the response, the answer, I'll provide answer options for the student to be able to pick from. So where you see drop down in this question, I'll click on that and change it from drop down to checkbox. So now changing it to checkbox means that the student will have to select the different adjectives that I have provided in this list. So for now, I can add running as an adjective, which is not correct, right? I can add another option, which will be, let me get my list of adjectives here. I have computer, door, cat, etc. So I'll put computer, door, cat. These are all options. I can add another question by clicking on this plus sign again, where you see my mouse moving. See, it says add question. I click on that, and I can add another question, which will be English question 2. And it could be a different question. But this time, instead of the student having the ability to select multiple answers, it will be the student have to select only one answer. So I'll provide, the question will be, I'll say pronoun. So I'll say, Akuya was eating food yesterday. And then here where you see the where it says short answer, I'll provide 2 options where the student will have to select only one. So I'll switch it to multiple choice, and the first option is she, and then he. So as you can see here, this question will allow the student to select one of 2 options. This English question will allow the student to select multiple options. This question, which is a math question, is a graph, that will allow the student to upload their graph that they have hand traced or hand drawn on a piece of paper. And for you to just get the concept, how this will look like for the student, I'll click go here where you see this I on the upper right corner. It says preview. I'll click on that. When you click on that, it will show you how the student will see the question. So here you see homework for English and math, and it has question 1 from math, which is graph. So here it means that the student will have to upload their graph that they will draw on a sheet of paper in the form of image or PDF. And here the student can answer the question by selecting multiple options. Okay. And here the student can only answer the question by selecting one of multiple options. So the point of this exercise is I'll go back here and I can add as many questions as I want. So I can add another question here with English, question 3. And I can, this time it will be a story. I can put a short story here, short story. Jeff was running yesterday and fell. He was also treated for his hand, right? How did Jeff fall, right? And this time, this question, I can change it to a paragraph. So in this question scenario, when the student is answering, the student will have to answer by actually answering by typing his response to this question. When I go back to this and I refresh my page, you see that this new question that I added will now appear here. So in this case, if the student is answering the question, the student will have to type his response to this question. This gives you the ability to create all types of questions that you want to submit or give to the student. All right. So I'll close this and come back here. I'll say leave and come back to my questions that I'm creating. Now how does the teacher get these answers that the students will provide? How will the teacher receive it? So for me to identify that, at the top here, you see where right now it says questions, I'll click on what it says responses. When I click on responses, I can then decide to, as a teacher or as a school, decide how I want to receive the responses. So one way of receiving the responses is by connecting the questions to Google Sheet. If I click on this, it will create a Google Sheet. And think of Google Sheet as an Excel spreadsheet. In some cases, think of the Google Sheet as the file that all the students, their answers will be stored in, so that you don't have to go to different places to look at each student's response to the homework or the assignment that you posted online. The other option is that I can click on these 3 dots here next to the plus sign here, the Google Sheet. I can click on it and I can say that I want to get all my responses, every child's response, I want to get it in the form of an email. So I can click get email notification for new response. And in that scenario, when every time a student responds or answers all the questions and submit, the Google form will send me, the teacher, an email for just one student. So you have 2 options on how you want to receive the responses from students. The first option is by letting all the responses from students go into a Google Sheet. So now if I say create a new Google Sheet and I name it, I click create, it will create a Google Sheet. So every student response will go into my Google Sheet. So now I'll click create and it will create a Google Sheet. So on this tab here, you see that a new page is getting created. So what you see here in this Google Sheet here is that it gives you the information that the student will fill. So you see the column, it says timestamp, email, math question 1, which will be graph, and then English question 1, This is the first question in the English. And then it gives you English question 2. So when the student responds to the this homework that I've created here, when the student responds to each one of them, every student's answer will be inserted in this as a row. So let me respond to, let me conduct this as a student, and then we will come back to the Google Sheet here, and then you see the responses that I provided. So for now, I'll say that I'll go to preview mode, and then I'll answer each of the questions. So now I'm acting as a student, providing the answers to the questions that the teacher have provided. So first one is I'll upload my graph. So as a student, let's say I drew my graph for question 1, and then I upload it. So my graph is uploaded. Then the second question is English question 1. Well, the list of adjectives, I'll just select just 2 here. It doesn't have to be the right answer, just to illustration purposes. And this question, I'll select this one. And here I'll just type Jeff got hurt, okay? And I'll say that submit. When I click submit, what is happening is that the Google Forms is now uploading the information that I, as a student, provided. And the information will be stored into the Google Sheet that I connected to my Google Form, which is the homework/assignment, okay? Here, all right. So here is a form, a Google form that I have created to conduct an exams online. I'll open this Google form, and this Google form has questions and a story. It's a comprehensive English comprehensive exam for year 1 students, or I'll say class 1 students, okay? It's a story about the gingerbread man. The student will read this part of the story. When the student is done, then the student will answer each one of these questions, okay? Now, I want to time this exam. I'm done with this story, so I'm done with this form. I want to force the student to complete the exam in a specific time frame. To do that, you go to the upper right-hand corner where you see these 3 dots. The 3 dots, you click on it, and then you scroll down, and then you will see add-ons. The add-ons, you just click on add-on. When you click on add-on, it will open a search window. And you have to search for a specific add-on called Timefy, Timify.me, Timify.me. This allows you to add this add-on to your Google form, where you can specify the amount of time the student has to complete their particular exam. So I'll click on Timify.me, and then when it comes up, you click on install. For me, I have already added this feature on my Google form. That's why it shows installed. But when you're doing it for the first time, you just click on these 3 buttons next to the Timify, and then you see an option that says install, and then you just click on that. So for now, let me just demonstrate the process all over by uninstalling. I'll remove it from my form, and then I'll do it from scratch, okay? And this allows you to specify the amount of time the students will have for answering the comprehensive form. So for now, because I have done it, now it's asking me, okay, you have to install it. So I'll say individual install. I'll click on that, and it brings this question which says, Timify needs your permission in order to start installation. I'll say continue. And then what it's doing is that it's installing the form on it's installing the Timify on my form. You have to accept this option, which means that it will access some information about your account. I click my Google account, and then give it permissions to say allow. Now, when it's done installing, I'll need to configure it. Configure, what I mean by configuring is I need to turn it on to make it apply to my English comprehension exam. So I'll click next, done, and I'll close this search. So I'll refresh my page by clicking on the refresh reload page. And then I will go here where I see add-ons, this arrow thing here. When you click on that, it now shows you Timeframe. That means Timeframe has been added to my English comprehension exam for Google Form that I created. I'll click on it, and then I'll say configure. I'll click on the option that says configure. And now I will then configure the Timeframe option by turning it on. Here it says enabled, and then I'll say sync. So that means that it's synchronizing my form to the Timeframe application, which I will then specify the amount of time the students will have. So I'll go to Timeframe, and here you see my Google form will show up here. So I have my English comprehension exam here, and then I'll say that create test, and then I'll specify that this test is 30 minutes, and then auto close. This means that when the 30 minutes is reached, the Google form will automatically close so that the student doesn't get extra time to complete the exam. And I will then say create, I'll put in here. Create. So now it links this Timeframe application to my English comprehension exam. So when you want to send the exam to students, what you need to do is you copy this URL, or see where it says copy URL, and then you can go to WhatsApp or email or to whichever platform that you are using to communicate. If you're using InfoView Sims application, you can go to the classroom notice feature, and you can just paste this URL into the application. So for now, I'll demonstrate with just WhatsApp, and I'll paste my Timeframe here, the link. So I'll send this link to all my students or the parents' WhatsApp group. And now when I click submit, every student will receive the Timeframe, the link to the exam, okay? So what I'll do is that for the purpose of demonstration, I'll click on this link, and now it will open the exam. So the student sees comprehension exam for 30 minutes. Click open form, and now it opens my Google form. So now here you see that the clock starts. So now the students have 30 minutes to read this English comprehension exam. The student will put their student ID. So I'll put ID, say 9876. Name is Jeff Bamba. Then the student will read a story, The Gingerbread Man, and the student will now answer each of the questions. So what happened at the beginning of the story? Gingerbread Man. Oh. What was the gingerbread man running from? The old man, the old lady, and the cow. The characters, the student will answer that. For now, I just put in dummy data, okay? The student answer that. And then here, you see that it puts a unique ID here, or you can allow the parent to put their name. So Mr. Bamba, supervise. And the student will click submit. When the student clicks submit, because the student was within the 30 minutes time frame, it didn't time out. So if I go back to my Google form here for the exam, so I can go to my English comprehension and I can check my responses. You can see that The 987 that I put there is there, and you see Jeff Bamba responded, and you see this is the answers that Jeff provided, which is the second one. Now, the reason why you are looking at the responses this way is because I didn't link this exam to my Google Sheet. If I had linked it to Google Sheet, I would have seen, I could open the Google Sheet, and then the responses will be in columns. Okay, so this will allow you to then look at every child's exam response and be able to then assess the correctness of each question and then grade the student. And then to grade the student, you need to record the student exam in their continuous assessment book. But if you have a school management systems like InfoView Sims, you'll be able to then use the raw grade to track the student assessment. Okay. All right. So that wraps up the first part of this training. The second part that I want to go over is how to get free audio and video content online. And here, the objective of this training exercise is really to give you techniques on how to narrow your search when you're looking for video and audio content. And obviously, for me, I think that if you are looking at your class that you want to send the content to, if the class is the upper primary, there's obviously my suggestion will always be to use Khan Academy. Okay, there's a lot of material there at khanacademy.org that you can use to send to students without necessarily having to create the content yourself. But if you have the effort and the time and your teachers have the technical skills, it makes more sense to record the video content yourself, because that way you can control what you are giving to your students. So for now, I'll just demonstrate just such techniques. The reason why I'm doing this is that we have come across schools looking for information, and sometimes the information that they send out is not necessarily related to the specific grade or class level of the student. So that means that the search results that they did really wasn't effective. So one of the things that you can do when you're searching for information is to use what's called search operators. Okay, there are two types of search operators, and each one acts differently. One is the comma. So I can, if I'm looking for information, I can say grade 1, comma, English, comma, US, comma, comprehension. So based on the comma, what the search engine in Khan Academy is doing is that it's using the commas, the words, to narrow down the content that is related to what you are looking for, and then it gives you results. Now, another search technique is using what is called the plus operator. So again, the same search, I can put grade +1 plus English plus US plus comprehension. Again, you see the results are different. So based on what you're putting in is what drives what you get. So the more accurate your operators are, the more results you get. Or sorry, the more accurate results you get. This is crucial in generating or getting information, video and audio content that you can send to parents for reviewing. And if you have the ability from your school person, if you have the ability to generate your own content, you can generate your own content where the teacher is teaching a particular subject, and then you can upload that content to YouTube. And then even if you upload to YouTube, it doesn't mean that everybody can have access to it. You can upload the video to YouTube and restrict to what is called unlisted. And in that scenario, you have to send the link, and only those that have the link can see the video. That way you are not teaching for free, right? So that's one way. The other search option available to you for using video and audio content for teaching is obviously YouTube. Everybody loves YouTube. I use YouTube a lot. So one of the things you can also do here is searching for content. So I'll say grade 1 math plus, I'll put addition and subtraction. This will give me videos that are specific for only grade 1 math, and it has both addition and subtraction. The same search technique, I can use what's called question-based search technique. How to demonstrate grade 1 addition and subtraction. And this will change the results as well. So one of the things that we have seen some schools WhatsApp groups, what they are doing is sending the actual video. I strongly suggest that you don't, because as we all know, internet bundle is pricey, and also the network's performance are not the best these days because we are all online. So rather, you should send links. To send link of a video, you right click, and then you can copy the link in the browser here, and then you can send it through WhatsApp or through whatever channel you want.
Was made in honor of.
So if you copy the link at the top by right clicking and say copy, you can then paste the link to a particular WhatsApp group for the parents, or through an email, and the parent will be able to watch that video. One of the things that you may try to do is uploading videos on YouTube. And to do that, I don't know if you know how. If you log into your Google account, you see, and go to YouTube, you see this small camera here. When you click on it, you can see upload video. This is where you can upload videos to YouTube if you've never done it before. And when you upload a video to YouTube, you can restrict it to only share with some people, or you can restrict it to only send a link, or you can just make it available to anybody in the world. Okay, so that this concludes. It's 10:44 right now. I'll go back. I'll stop sharing and go back and answer questions that have been posted. So let me go through here. So I have a question here. The Timeframe process was too fast. Okay, let me take my time and I walk you through the Timeframe process again. So let me share my Google Chrome. All right, so let me go here. And then this is a new form that I use to train you, right? This is a homework for English and math. I want to add, this one doesn't have Timeframe added. So now I want to add Timeframe. So what I'll do is, on the upper right-hand corner here, you see the 3 dots. Those 3 dots, I'll click on it. And then you see here, it says add on. Okay, I'll click on add on. And then it will bring up a screen where I can put in a search. At the top, it says G Suite Marketplace, all right? So I'll put in Timeframe, Timify.me, Timify.me, and I'll click on it. Okay, and now it brings Timeframe. Because I have already installed Timeframe on my Google account, it shows as installed, okay? But if you're doing it for the first time, it will be a different, it will show, you have to install it. So for now, let me uninstall it. And then I'll start the process all over again, So now this is my homework. Let's say I want to add Timeframe to restrict the students to say 30 minutes to do this homework. I'll go here, upper right-hand corner, you see the 3 dots. When you put your mouse on it, it will say more, click on that. And then you go down the list, you see add-ons. This one, add-ons, you click on that. Okay. And then it will bring you to a search screen here where it says G Suite Marketplace. In the search box where it says search apps, click there and then enter Timefy.me. Okay. And then you click on it. It will bring the Timefy plugin. Now here, you see that it doesn't show installed. Previously, it was showing installed because I had installed it. But now it's not installed, so I'll click on it to install it. So now it's installing. Then it gives me an option to install where it says install domain or install individual. You will not see the install domain because for you, you are not a corporate. Me, I'm using a Gmail account that is a corporate account. That's why you see domain install. So I'll select individual install. And then it gives me, it says, get ready to install Timefy, and I'll say continue. Okay. And then it will need to get permissions from me to do the installation. So I'll need to select my account, Gmail account that I'm associating this installation with. So I'll select my Gmail account, and then I need to approve the permissions. Timefy.me wants to access your Gmail account. I'll say allow. Okay. And then now it goes through the installation process. Now, as it goes through the installation process, I will need to configure it, okay? Just because it's installed doesn't mean it's configured, okay? So I'll need to click next and say done. And then I'll close this search window by clicking this X button at the upper right corner here. So now I'm back to my Google form and I want to configure it. So I'll go here, see this arrow looking thing? It says add-ons. I'll click on that. And then now it shows Timefy.me. So I need to click on that. And then it brings up this window where it says Timefy.me, configure, help. I'll click on configure. And now it's saying, read carefully, blah, 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 blah. Enable add-on for this form. See that button? I'll click on enable add-on for this form. I'll click on that. Now it's enabling, that means even though I did the installation, I didn't enable for this form to use it. So I'm enabling it, this form, this particular form to use it. So when this is done, what I'll do is that now it says enabled, right? And then I'll click on sync form settings. Click on that to make sure that my form synchronizes with the Timefy plugin. And then the last step is the link for sending to students, all right? So I'll go to, you open a new browser, so a new window. So I'll click here and I'll type Timefy.me, and then I click enter, and it takes me to Timefy where I can now specify, okay, I can specify the time limit for this particular homework. Now I see homework for English and math. I can click on create test, and I put in my email. And I can say that this homework is 15 minutes. And I click and say auto close form, or I can leave that option open, and I click create, and then it creates a URL. So this URL, where it says copy URL, this is what you will send to the parent. Okay, so you click copy, and then you can then send that to the parent. So I can go to my WhatsApp group, or in this case, if you are using InfoView Sims app, you can go to the classroom notice feature, and then you can post, you can send that to parents. So I can send it, post it here, or you can use this link and send that through InfoView Sims. And when the parents get that in Gbook, which is the InfoView app, they just get that a push notification. They can tap on that and it'll open the homework. Or in this case, if the parent gets the link in WhatsApp and they click on that, they can open it. And then you see that the parent will see the form, the homework, and it shows the timer have started counting down. Okay, and then the student can answer each of the questions, and then they can click on submit. All right. I hope that that I was able to go through in depth on this. So let me see here if there's any other questions. Can you paste Word document on Google Form? All right, that's another question. So let me show you the best way to do that. So I can, let me close my here, and then I can start a new Google Form. So I can create, go here, and then I'll click here. What I'm doing is I'm clicking on new, new, and then more, and I click on Google Forms, all right? And then I have a Word document. So this option where you can add the text, where is this one, text. You can add all the text here, okay? So I copied this text from a Word document and I pasted it on my Google form, and it maintains the format of the text, okay? So yes, to your question, you can copy information in your Word document and you can paste it in Google Form. I hope that this demonstration answers your question. Mine later, and you have questions, you can send me an email by sending me an email to this email address, and I'll be able to answer your question. So here is my email address, jbamba@idscompgh.com. You can send me an email here and I'll be able to provide you the response to your question. If you are an InfoView customer and you want to use Google Forms, you can contact us through our support platform, and we'll be able to hold your hand to set up your questions online so that you can get going, beginning whenever you're ready. I just got another question. You talked about WhatsApp platform for this training yesterday. Yes, yesterday I mentioned that I was going to create a WhatsApp platform, but what we have learned, most people who registered for this course did not provide their WhatsApp number. So we don't have WhatsApp numbers to create a group. That's why I'm providing the email option. If you guys provided your WhatsApp number, I can create a WhatsApp group, and then we can use that to further provide guidance on anything that you need. So for now, the email option is what's available. If you're a customer, InfoView customer, you already have a WhatsApp group. You can post your WhatsApp, you can post your questions on your support page, and the support team will be able to help you with that. Okay. So it is 10:59. We are at the end of our session. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, you can send them through email. And stay safe, stay indoors, and be healthy. Have a great day, and tomorrow's session will also be at the same time. If something did not make sense to you, you can register for tomorrow's sessions as well, and we'll go over the same material. Next week, we will start an advanced version of this class, which is much more in-depth in terms of how to use these tools. All right, have a great day and stay blessed. Bye-bye.